Ever wondered what a seduction guide from like the early 2000s looks
Oh,
like?
yeah.
Buckle up.
Okay.
Because we're diving into Maximum Seduction
I'm-
by Rob J.,
Wow.
a 12 CD program
Wow.
promising to, well, maximize your chances with women.
Yeah. From what I understand, this program was quite the experience. Like,
Yeah.
you pop in a CD,
Right.
listen, and then actually take notes. It was a whole process.
Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're going to unpack the
Yeah.
core concepts of Maximum Seduction,
Okay.
explore its approach,
Okay.
and see if any of it holds water in 2025.
I think it'll be fascinating to see how this material has or hasn't aged.
Right.
Dating and relationships have evolved quite a bit since the early 2000s.
To say the least.
Yeah.
This program is structured in a very specific way.
Okay.
It's broken down into 12 CDs,
Whoa.
each tackling a different aspect of seduction,
Wow.
with titles
Right.
that range from automatic seduction
Huh.
to beliefs and seduction. And this one is interesting, chick logic.
That title alone is pretty revealing, isn't it?
Yeah.
It speaks volumes about the program's approach to understanding women,
Yeah,
which might make some of our listeners cringe a bit.
probably so.
Yeah.
But that's why we're here, right?
Right.
To analyze this material critically.
Of course.
One thing that struck me was the emphasis on note-taking.
Whoa.
Rob J. really hammered home this idea that you need to actively engage with the material to internalize it.
You know, that focus on active engagement actually aligns with proven learning techniques.
Oh, interesting.
Taking notes and actively recalling information helps solidify it in your mind,
Yeah.
whether you're studying for an exam or trying to improve your communication skills.
Right.
So maybe Rob J. was onto something there,
Yeah.
at least in terms of the learning process.
Interesting.
Yeah.
It's like he accidentally stumbled upon a good study habit and applied it to this, let's say, unique concept of seduction.
Yeah.
Speaking of which.
Maximum Seduction frames seduction as a strategic game to be won,
Okay.
using techniques and manipulating what it calls chick logic.
While I see your point about the learning aspect, that game mentality raises some red flags for me.
Yeah.
Relationships aren't about winners and losers.
Yeah.
They're about mutual respect,
Right.
understanding, and connection.
Yeah, and framing it as a game with a set of rules to be exploited feels,
Yeah.
well, manipulative.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It reduces human interaction to a series of calculated moves,
All
ignoring the importance of genuine connection and emotional intelligence.
right, so let's unpack some of those calculated moves.
Right?
CD 7 and 8
Okay.
focus on using language to, as the program puts it, slip inside her mind.
Oh, wow.
They delve into this concept of presuppositions.
That's a phrase that might send shivers down your spine, to be honest.
Yeah.
But for the sake of understanding, what exactly are these presuppositions?
Basically, a presupposition is a sneaky way of phrasing things that assumes something is true.
Even if it might not be.
Okay.
It's like planting an idea in someone's head without them realizing it.
I see. And I imagine this tactic is used in advertising and propaganda all the time.
Oh, all the time.
Yeah.
Imagine you're at a store
Right.
and the salesperson says,
All right.
after you see how this product will change your life,
Mm-hmm.
you'll want to tell all your friends.
Okay.
They're not directly saying the product is life-changing,
Right.
but they're implying it.
Yeah.
And they're also presupposing that you'll like it enough to recommend it.
That's fascinating and a little unsettling, right?
Yeah,
It's one thing to use presuppositions in a playful or harmless way,
right.
but quite another to use them to manipulate someone into doing something they wouldn't otherwise do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This idea of framing seduction as a game really ties into the next concept we're going to discuss,
Right.
the program's ultimate method.
Ooh, the ultimate method.
Yeah.
It sounds almost too good to be true, doesn't it?
It does.
I'm curious to see what kind of wisdom Rob J. is dropping here.
Well, the program keeps it under wraps for a while,
Mm-hmm.
building up the suspense.
So is it actually some groundbreaking technique
Mm-hmm.
or just clever marketing hype?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
It seems like this ultimate method really plays into that human desire for a quick fix,
Right.
a secret formula for success in dating.
Doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's like there's this underlying assumption that there's a magic bullet,
Mm.
a one-size-fits-all solution to something as complex as human attraction.
Which, of course, is rarely the case.
Right.
And as we've already touched on,
Yeah.
dating has changed drastically since this program was released.
Right.
What might have been considered acceptable back then is simply not okay today.
Right.
Yeah.
We have a much greater understanding of consent, respect, and the importance of genuine connection.
Yeah.
And honestly, some of what we're seeing in this program so far feels a bit off.
I agree.
Yeah.
But it's important to remember that this program is a product of its time.
Mm-hmm.
It reflects a certain attitude towards dating and seduction
Right.
that thankfully has become increasingly outdated.
It's definitely giving us a lot to think about.
Yeah.
But before we go any further,
Okay.
let's take a closer look at this whole concept of chick logic.
Right.
Because I have a feeling that's where things could get really interesting.
Uh,
Or maybe just really cringy.
I have a feeling you might be right about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, this chick logic concept is certainly a prime example of how this program views women.
Yeah.
It's like it's trying to reduce women's thoughts, feelings, and motivations to some kind of simple formula that men can crack.
It's almost as if the program thinks women are these mysterious creatures
Yeah.
operating on a different plane of existence,
Yeah.
right? Like men need this secret decoder ring to figure them out.
Right. Instead of seeing women as individuals
Yeah.
with their own unique perspectives and experiences,
Right.
the program presents this idea
Yeah.
that there's a universal chick logic that can be manipulated.
It definitely feels like it's playing into some harmful gender stereotypes, doesn't it?
Absolutely. And it creates this unnecessary divide between the sexes
Yeah.
rather than encouraging communication and understanding.
Right.
Which brings us back to that ultimate method you teased earlier.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Are you ready to unveil this grand seduction secret?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Drum roll, please.
All right.
The ultimate method,
Yeah.
according to Maximum Seduction,
Yeah.
is all about creating a false time constraint.
A false time constraint.
Yes.
Okay. I'm intrigued, but also a little apprehensive.
Okay.
Lay it on me.
Basically, the idea is to subtly suggest that you only have a limited amount of time to
Yeah.
talk or be with the woman you're interested in.
So it's like saying, I'd love to chat, but I have to go disarm a bomb in 5 minutes.
Wow.
I'm not sure I'm following the logic here.
The program claims this creates a sense of urgency and scarcity,
Okay.
which supposedly makes you more desirable. It's playing on the idea that people tend to want what they can't have, or what seems like it's slipping away.
Okay. I could see how that might work in some contexts,
Yeah,
like marketing and sales.
right.
But applying it to romantic interactions seems a bit manipulative, wouldn't you say?
That's the question, isn't it?
Right.
Is it just a harmless way to create a little intrigue? Or is it a calculated tactic to pressure someone into making a decision they might not otherwise make?
It feels like it falls into that gray area we were discussing earlier.
Yeah.
That fine line between effective communication and outright manipulation.
Exactly. And this whole false time constraint idea seems to contradict another core principle of the program,
Really?
which is this emphasis on building rapport and connection.
That's a good point.
Right.
How can you build genuine rapport with someone
Right.
when you're essentially creating a sense of artificial scarcity?
Yeah.
It seems counterintuitive, to say the least.
Right. It's almost as if the program is trying to have it both ways. Build a connection, but also maintain an air of mystery and unattainability.
It's almost like the program is encouraging a kind of push and pull dynamic,
Right.
which can be really confusing and frustrating for the other person.
And not to mention exhausting for the person trying to orchestrate it all.
It's almost like this program is trying to turn something that should be organic and spontaneous,
Yeah.
human connection, flirting attraction, into this calculated, almost robotic interaction.
You hit the nail on the head.
Yeah.
And that brings us back to this whole concept of chick logic.
Okay.
What are some specific examples of how the program tries to define or decode it?
Some of it is pretty stereotypical and honestly offensive.
Okay.
It claims women are inherently attracted to men who display alpha qualities.
Ooh, not the alpha male trope.
Yeah.
I thought we left that behind somewhere in the early 2000s, along with low-rise jeans and frosted tips.
You'd hope so.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, these outdated ideas about masculinity still linger in some corners of the internet and
Yeah.
self-help world.
It's like they haven't gotten the memo that many women are looking for partners who are kind empathetic and respectful,
Right.
not domineering alpha males who treat them like trophies to be won.
Exactly. And the program goes even further,
Oh.
suggesting that women are easily swayed by flattery and compliments,
Okay.
even if they're insincere.
Wow.
It's like it's advocating for a kind of emotional manipulation,
Yeah.
preying on women's insecurities to gain their attention.
This just makes me think of those cheesy pickup lines you'd find in a joke book.
Right.
Like, are you lost, ma'am? Because heaven's a long way from here?
Exactly. It's reducing women to caricatures.
Yeah.
instead of recognizing them as complex individuals with their
Right.
own thoughts, feelings, and experiences.
It completely disregards the idea that women are capable of discerning genuine compliments from empty flattery.
Right.
And you know what?
What?
I bet even back then, many women saw right through this kind of stuff.
I would imagine so. I
Yeah.
think there's this inherent wisdom that many women possess
Yeah.
when it comes to detecting authenticity
Hmm.
or lack thereof
Right.
in romantic interactions.
This whole chick logic thing is just reinforcing harmful gender stereotypes
Yeah.
and perpetuating this idea that men and women are fundamentally different
Right.
and can't possibly understand each other.
It's creating this unnecessary divide rather than encouraging communication and understanding.
It's like they're saying men are from Mars, women are from Venus, and never the twain shall meet.
Except in this case, it's more like men are from the planet of logic and reason, and women are from the planet of emotions and intuition.
Oh, wow.
And men need to learn how to manipulate those emotions to get what they want.
Wow.
It's a very skewed and outdated perspective.
Definitely. And as cringeworthy as it is to dissect this outdated material,
Mm-hmm.
I think it's important to acknowledge these harmful ideas
Yeah,
and actively challenge them.
I agree.
Yeah.
It's only by confronting these outdated beliefs and stereotypes that we can move towards a more equitable and respectful approach to dating and relationships.
So let's shift gears a bit
Okay.
and think about how this program might have impacted its audience back in the early 2000s.
Okay.
Do you think people actually bought into this maximum seduction approach?
That's a great question. I'm sure it resonated with some people who are looking for quick fixes or easy answers in the often confusing world of dating.
Right. It probably appealed to that desire for a formula,
Uh-huh.
a set of rules to follow that would guarantee success.
Exactly. And perhaps it even gave some guys a temporary boost of confidence,
Yeah.
even if that confidence was based on manipulative tactics.
But I imagine it could have also backfired spectacularly for others.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, authenticity and genuine connection are hard to fake.
For sure.
And I'm guessing women could see right through the insincerity.
Oh, absolutely. And think about the long-term impact.
Yeah.
I can't imagine that many healthy, fulfilling relationships were built on this foundation of maximum seduction techniques.
Probably not. In the long run, treating dating like a game with winners and losers is just a recipe for disappointment and heartbreak for
Yeah.
both parties involved.
Exactly. So I guess the question is, are there any redeeming qualities to this program?
Right.
Is there anything we can learn from it,
Yeah.
even if it's just what not to do?
That's a good question. Maybe there are some aspects that we can reframe or reinterpret through a more modern ethical lens.
Okay.
What do you think?
Well, it's been quite a journey dissecting this maximum seduction program.
It has.
We've uncovered some questionable advice
Yeah.
and outdated concepts,
Yeah, sure.
but maybe, just maybe, there are some nuggets of wisdom hidden within this treasure trove
Yeah.
of early 2000s dating advice. What do you think?
I think you might be onto something.
Okay.
While the overall approach is problematic,
Right.
there are a few elements
Okay.
that, if reframed through a modern ethical lens, could actually be beneficial in building healthy relationships. Okay, I'm all ears. What kind of hidden gems are we talking about?
Well, for starters, the program emphasizes the importance of active listening,
Okay.
really paying attention to what a woman is saying, both verbally and non-verbally.
Right.
Of course, maximum seduction frames this as a way to gather information that can be used for manipulation.
Oh, okay.
But the core concept of active listening is actually incredibly valuable in any relationship.
That's so true. Being present and engaged in a conversation, trying to understand another person's perspective, that's the foundation of good communication, whether you're on a date or just chatting with a friend.
Exactly. And I think the same could be said for the program's emphasis on understanding different communication styles.
Yeah.
While the whole chick logic concept is deeply flawed and stereotypical,
Right.
the underlying idea that men and women might communicate differently
Okay.
and that understanding those differences can lead to better communication isn't inherently a bad thing.
I see what you're saying. It's like instead of trying to decode women like there's some kind of puzzle,
Right.
it's about recognizing that everyone communicates in their own unique way and that being attuned to those nuances can lead to more fulfilling interactions.
Precisely.
Yeah.
It's about empathy, not manipulation.
Okay.
It's about trying to see the world from the other person's perspective,
Right.
not trying to fit them into some predetermined box.
It seems like so much of what this program gets wrong boils down to this lack of empathy and respect. It's all about winning and techniques and strategies instead of approaching relationships as a collaborative two-way street.
It's like they forgot that there's another human being involved, someone with their own thoughts, feelings, and desires.
Right. And I think that's the most important takeaway for our listeners.
Yeah.
Forget about all the manipulative tactics and mind games.
Sure.
Focus on being authentic, respectful, and genuinely interested in connecting with the other person.
And remember, relationships should be about mutual understanding, support, and shared joy.
Right.
Not about conquering or manipulating someone into submission.
Well said. So to wrap things up,
Okay.
maybe Maximum Seduction wasn't a complete waste of our time after all.
Yeah.
It gave us a glimpse into a bygone era of dating advice. Highlighted some harmful ideas that we've thankfully moved away from.
For sure.
And maybe even offered a few valuable lessons, albeit unintentionally.
I think that's a great way to sum it up.
Yeah.
By understanding where we've come from, we can better appreciate how far we've come and continue to strive for healthier, more equitable relationships in the future.
So listeners, as you navigate the world of dating and relationships, remember to approach every interaction with respect, authenticity, and a genuine desire to connect, and leave the manipulation tactics back in the early 2000s where they belong.